You were not on the plan. You were not on the plan today. You were not in the grand plan of what the Father sent me to do, but you're going to get me stepping into your life and working because of your faith, because of your kind of like stubbornness and just staying with it and wanting me to work in your life. Let's continue with the story before we move more with applications. His mother said to the servants, "Do whatever he tells you." Nearby stood 6 stone water jars, the kind used by the Jews for ceremonial washing, each holding from 20 to 30 gallons. And Pastor here made a point that we don't need to always look at what we don't have. Sometimes what's most important is what we do have, even when it seems insignificant. Even when it seems insignificant. We talked about the story with the feeding of the 5,000. Do you remember that? Feeding the 5,000. The disciples said, absolutely hopeless. No chance. The fact that you're Jesus doesn't make a difference. We have 0 money. It will take 8 months' salary or 6 months' salary to feed this group. And so we absolutely positively cannot do it. But there's a boy who said what? There's a boy who said, I don't know how far this will go, but I've got something. I've got something. Can you bring this to Jesus? I heard he wants to feed the crowd. I don't know how far it will go, but I've got something. And he brought what he had and trusted that God would use what he had. We're reminded also in the Old Testament with Elisha, where there's a woman in an incredible disaster of a situation where they owed money. She was a widow. Her husband had these people they owed money to. She inherited the debt, and the people were going to come and take her sons. Going to take her sons. If you can't pay, woman, we're going to come back next week and we're going to take your sons. And she cried out to Elisha. Said, Elisha, what can I do? Man of God, you know Almighty God. You have a relationship with Almighty God. Again, one of my biggest points today that I want to hit home with me, I want to hit home with you. It doesn't even make a difference that we claim to know God. That we claim to know Jesus. Is there authenticity in that? Does that make a difference? Or is that empty words? We just had a whole ton of Kairos freshmen here. What are they being taught? What are they seeing? Jesus is just the answer on a test. Jesus is just a password. Jesus is just some stupid thing that our school says you have to believe in. The way I was taught, you have to say this. None of it is true, but you have to say this. It doesn't make a difference in real life. Is that what they're taught? What are my kids going to be taught? What are they going to believe as they're growing up? What are your kids going to be taught? Does anybody believe that Jesus is real? Can we show the world that Jesus is real? And so then she went to the man of God. Said, Elisha, I have no idea what to do except for one thing. I don't know God myself that well, but I believe that you do. I believe that you have a direct line with Almighty God. Again, I ask us, do we have a direct line with Almighty God or not? Is that real? Is that real? This woman who is desperate went to a man, no money, no political connections, only happened to know Almighty God. And Elisha worked. And what did he do? You remember what he said? He said, go out and get as many empty jars as you possibly can. Don't just get a few. In faith, collect as many empty jars as you can. Can you imagine how awkward possibly that was for her? Excuse me, can I get your empty jar? As many as you can, please. And why do you want me? I just want your empty jars. What if the miracle did happen? How embarrassed is it? She's there with 500 empty jars in her yard. You know, what's that about? And yet she acted on faith. So the man of God's word would happen, and she collected as many empty jars as she possibly could in the time that she had. And then what happened? The oil just kept running until the last empty jar was full of oil. And she not only could pay the creditors, but had enough money then to live the rest of her life. And bring what you have. Look at what you have. God, I don't have much, but I have this. I don't know what you can do with it, God, but this is what I've got. This is what you've given me. This is what I have now. and Jesus can do with stuff that seems insignificant. Seems like it doesn't come into play, right? Once 5 loaves and 2 fish to feed 5,000. That's almost a non-factor. Not in Jesus' hands, it's not. Once a bunch of empty jugs of, that don't even have water in it. Yeah? What can that do? Yes. If it was full of do something, they're empty. Not worth anything. Not in Jesus' hands. Right? Empty jars. Elisha said, go get empty jars. God can use that. You have something, and God can use whatever you have at this time. Let's continue on with the story. Jesus said to the servants, fill the jars with water. So they filled them to the brim. How do these servants have such faith? Right? Mary said, do whatever he tells you. And they did it, and did it what? Not half-heartedly? They filled them all the way to the brim. What in the world is this water going to do? Right? In the picture Bible, we have a picture Bible, and it has the servant saying, why water? We need wine. Why do you want us to fill it with water? Yeah, they did. They obeyed. Filled all the way to the brim, and Jesus turned that water to wine. Then he told them, now draw some out and take it to the master of the banquet. They did so. So again, here we have servants. Here we have servants. What's a servant's life? What's a servant's life? Not questioning, not making decisions on their own, getting instructions and obeying, leaving the consequences. What if that master of the banquet tasted it and it's still water? Right? The servants could just say, it wasn't us. This guy told us to do that. This guy. We're just servants. We're just servants doing what we were told to do. And I want to ask us, is again, I really want us to come to grips. I want me to come to grips. I don't want my kids to see a fake Jesus that their father believes in, or can't believe in the real Jesus. I want them to see reality in my faith, reality in my Jesus. Are we servants of Almighty God? Are we servants of Almighty God willing to focus and completely devote ourselves to saying, God, what do you want us to do? We want to listen to every single word you tell us, and we want to wholeheartedly obey every word you tell us, even if it doesn't make sense. Yeah, fill the jars. Okay, I'll pretend to fill the jars a little bit there. Good enough, right? Fill the jars. They did it wholeheartedly. Bring some to the master of the banquet. They didn't question. They did it wholeheartedly. Are we servants of Almighty God? Like Jesus was. Right? What did he say? The words I say, they're not my own. They aren't my creative words I came up with this morning. They're what my Father told me to say. And I say them. The things I do, it's what God told me to do. And I do it. These interruptions, turning the water to the wine, it's freedom that God gave me. It wasn't on the plan, but I asked God, and he told me, yes, you may do that. You may honor your mother at this time. Yes, you may heal the Phoenician woman's daughter, even though that wasn't a part of the original plan. He's a servant of Almighty God. Are we servants? Authentic servants of Almighty God. Maybe a word that can speak to us clearer this time that we don't really have. Slaves and servants as ambassadors. 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 20 says what? It says we are ambassadors of God. Ambassadors of God. God's plan is the world sees him through us. Through us. We let the world know who God is. Is any of this real? And again, I have to look in the mirror and ask myself, what do my kids see? What do I have to share with 9th graders who go to a Christian school? Are they going to get the same as I got going to a Christian school and say, you have to agree to believe this, but none of it's real, and it doesn't have to be real in your life. You just have to agree to believe it. Just have to say you believe it and try not to do bad things, please. Don't do drugs. Or don't do other bad things. It doesn't matter if it doesn't make a difference. I pray that we can get to know this Jesus. I pray that we can be a servant here. They did so, and the master of the banquet tasted the water that had been turned into wine. He did not realize where it had come from, though the servants who had drawn the water knew. Then he called the bridegroom aside and said, everyone brings out the choice wine first, and then the cheaper wine after the guests have had too much to drink, right? After they're already drunk and can't tell the difference, then it's okay to bring the cheaper kind. But you have saved the best till now. So the situation looked awfully hopeless, looked awfully, awfully embarrassing. What in the world's going to happen? We don't have wine. Right? We're going to be hugely embarrassed. Mary was going to feel their embarrassment, be embarrassed with them. But this problem was what? Was joy. What does the word teach us? In James chapter 1 verse 2 teaches us, consider it pure joy whenever you face trials of every kind. Because you know that the testing of your faith develops perseverance. As you face trials, that's a chance for you to take that trial too. Almighty God, that's a chance for you to see, am I a real son of God or not? Am I a real servant of God or not? Is God real or not? As you make the decision, I'm going to bring this to God. I've got a problem that God allowed in my life. I'm going to bring this back to Him. And I'm going to say, God, how are you going to work in this problem? I believe you're real. I believe that this problem can be a joy in my life. It looks scary. It looks very scary. We're facing lots of problems. Our legendary founder just got put in jail a few weeks ago. Maybe some of you read in the news, maybe not. How many are at the Bible school where the founder's in jail? That's a pretty serious problem. Our ministry has got huge, huge problems. Do I rejoice in those and believe that God is incredible? Or do I look elsewhere? Because like the disciples, what only matters is there's 5,000 people that need to eat and there's no money. There's a storm and it doesn't matter that Jesus and the boat were about to die. It doesn't matter that you know Jesus Christ personally, that I know Jesus Christ personally. Does that matter? Does that matter? Is He that friend who we can go to, who we're encouraged to go to? And we notice here that the wine is the very best. So what looked like a problem, what looked like there's no solution, I mean, I don't know how in the world we can possibly, whatever, stumble our way through this. Turn into what? Turn into a huge celebration, a huge honoring, right? With a masterless ceremony with the bridegroom. You're a sneaky one, you. You actually did something that no one's ever done that I know of. You saved the best wine for the climax of the party. You saved the best wine until now. And I would love to see the groom's face. Oh, I did? I didn't know I did, but I guess I did. I guess I did. What looked like a problem turned to the best because he knew Almighty God. And again, I just want to drive home the point as I'm closing of who is Jesus? What kind of access do we have in Jesus Christ? Remember He said, ask. Ask. The most straight out, most famous verses maybe is in Matthew 7:7. Ask and it will be given to you. It's as simple as that. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be open to you. And in case you're thinking that he just was rambling, didn't know what he was talking about. I don't know why he said that. Maybe he didn't really say it. Maybe somebody just pretended he wrote it in the Bible. Verse 8, he doubles down. In case you're not sure, in case you're hesitant to believe, verse 7, what's he saying in verse 8? He says, for everyone. In case you're thinking this verse is not for you. For everyone who asks, receives. Everyone who seeks, finds. Everyone who knocks, the door is open. It works. I am real. I am powerful. And I can be at work in your life. I can make a difference in your life. Would somebody please believe in me? I'm not happy with there being millions and millions of people using my name all over this world, and it seems like nobody actually believes in me. Can somebody believe in me and ask and seek and knock? And then he goes on, let me ask, what are we supposed to ask for? There's a saying in America that's very, very popular. God has never promised to give us what we want,